2017, it's a little strange seeing this still going on.
Today is a controversial holiday in Alabama and Mississippi. It's Confederate Memorial Day.
Nearly 100 people attended the Confederate Memorial Day ceremony. They laid a wreath at the Confederate Memorial on the Capitol grounds. Alabama and Mississippi are the only states to formally recognize Confederate Memorial Day as a state holiday.
Yo, can I just say, that is up on so many levels. No, first of all, the Confederacy fought the Civil War to defend slavery. Why would you honor that? Secondly, what are black people supposed to do on this holiday? If you're a black person in one of these states, what are you supposed to do? You're just sitting around like, man, this is some bull. This some bull. So, I either don't get the day off or I support slavery? Man, I'll take the day off, but I'm watching BET the whole time. The whole time, yo. Now, the reason that this has become a big story across the South is because it's not just about a holiday, right? The South is littered with reminders of its racist past. You got Confederate flags, Jeff Sessions, and of course, Jackson, Mississippi's infamous N-word arena. Yeah, home of the masses. And Confederate supporters often acknowledge that many people see this holiday and the flying of the Confederate flag on state property as offensive. They acknowledge that. But on the other hand, a lot of the Confederate supporters, they just don't give a
It is so wrong for those folks with contemporary agendas to try to tell us who we're supposed to remember and how we're supposed to remember them. These are our families, our people, our ancestors, and they lived in their own time just like we live in ours.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Like we live in ours? No. We are living in our own time. You're the one dressed like you need to deliver some letters for the Pony Express. Very different. Very different. I never understand this argument. You know, when people go, hey, back then they didn't know what they were doing. They didn't know what they were doing was racist. Well, first of all, yes, they did. But even if they didn't, you know that now. So what's your excuse? Why are you putting on the uniform? It's like saying, you can't judge a baby for in his pants. He didn't know better. And that's why today, in honor of that baby, I my pants. I know that some of today's Southerners genuinely believe that honoring this past doesn't necessarily honor white supremacy. But it's a hard case to make when there are statues that literally celebrate white supremacy. And you know they were serious because they chiseled it into the monument, people. Nobody chisels on a whim. It's not a drunk tweet. No one's like, oh man, last night I got so wasted and I chiseled white supremacy into a monument. You have to take your time. And you know what I've noticed, by the way, is whenever the local news does a story on Confederate monuments or holidays, they always find people who are against it. And those people all have something very specific in common.
But not everyone is for this tradition. People who object have a very different point of view on the matter.
Where some see history that's worth saving, others see icons of white supremacy.
Some people support the monuments while other people are black. Back to you in the studio. The whole story. Okay. By the way, local governments are tearing down some of the monuments, which is really good news. But how the monuments are coming down might be the best clue about exactly what kind of environment all this discussion is happening in. Because city officials are so afraid of the reaction that they have to do it like this.
The intimidations and threats from people who don't want these monuments down has been intense. You may remember that the first contractor alleged to have his car burned.
As NOPD officers stood guard, a crew of workers wearing what looked like tactical gear dismantled the Liberty Place monument.
That's right. City officials are wearing body armor, full body armor, because they're afraid that some radicals with extreme beliefs might kill them. I wish there was a word to describe those kinds of people. I mean, if they were brown, we'd call them terrorists, but I mean, they're white, so I mean... What, misguided patriots? I don't know. All right, but where were we? Yes, of course. Confederate flag, Confederate Memorial Day. Remind me again why this isn't a bad thing?
At the end of the day, these people who are simply, attending the Old South Ball, and they get all decked out in the hoop dresses, and look, it's a beautiful thing. They're not trying to offend anybody. They're simply trying to honor their heritage and their history. It's all part of our history.
Oh, it's all part of our history. Oh, I get it. I've got it. This is it. If it's all part of your history, then maybe you should include all of the history, right? So if you want to have the monument, then you should have to have a slave next to it. Yeah, for context, right? So it'll be like, he was a Confederate general, who was also a racist history. And if that idea doesn't work for you, here's another idea to help solve this issue. Just take all your Civil War memorabilia and do what Americans always do with the losing sides merchandise. Send it to Africa. Yeah, African kids already wear Atlanta Falcons Super Bowl champion t-shirts. They'll have no problem with Confederate States of America merchandise. Don't stress. That way you don't lose, right? Americans can still observe the Confederate Memorial Day. You'll just have to go to Africa to do it. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, it may be unfair to have to travel to a foreign continent across the Atlantic against your will. Now you're getting it. Congratulations! You've been randomly selected as a winner of free Daily Show episodes. Yes, you. To claim your prize, just watch full episodes of The Daily Show for free anytime with the Comedy Central app or at thedailyshow.com. What a winner you are! So much winning.